A warm welcome to Disky Talk with Leon. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, I discuss all things MTN8 quarterfinal as I have a pre-match analysis of Cape Town City versus Amazulu. So, coming up into this episode, the blue team will represent Cape Town City, the red team will represent Amazulu. So, when you do look at Cape Town City then, they did have a bad start to the season. However, they did manage then to pick up 3 points, their very first 3 points against Kaizer Chiefs within the league. With Amazulu then, they've had a very good start within the DStv Premiership under Brandon Truter. However, let's then have a look at the personnel. So when you do have a look at Cape Town City then, the last time out against Kaizer Chiefs, they did play with the 4-2-3-1, and I think that this has been their best setup thus far. But let's have a look at the personnel. So in goals then, you do have Darren Keat. So we do know that Hugo Marks has left the club, so Darren Keat then has become number 1. At left back, they did start with Terence Mashego. So when you look at Mashego, this is a player then who was injured, but made a return against Kaizer Chiefs and had a very, very good performance. And when you look at Mashego, then he becomes quite key with regards to offering Cape Town City width on the left-hand side within that wide channel, especially then within the opposition half. And a player then who has good technical ability with regards to providing those crosses, and a player then who also enjoys a very good relationship with Gonzalez on the left-hand side. So when Gonzalez does look to occupy that half space, you would see Mashego looking to offer the width. So sometimes what you will see then is Gonzalez on the ball looking to cut in, Mashego makes that run, Gonzalez plays him in behind. They do that very well as they have developed a very, very good partnership down the left-hand side. So they are quite penetrative down the left-hand side with Mashego and with Gonzalez as well. And then when you do then move on right along and have a look at their centre-back. So as the left-sided centre-back, you've got Fili's, and then you've got Fasika, and then at right-back, you do have Mkhize. So Fili's and Fasika then, we do know that Fasika and Fili's then didn't start the season as they had to have makeshift centre-backs as Coach Eric Tinkle didn't think that they were up to standard with regards to their fitness. But ever since we've seen them come and play together, we've seen that Cape Town City have been a lot more solid, and they are not leaking and conceding as many chances against them as much as they were within the beginning of the season. So with with Fili's and Fasika then, they're quite a very, very solid centre-back pairing at the back. And then at right-back, you do have Tammy Mkhize. With Mkhize then, he becomes quite key then with regards to offering the width for this Cape Town City side. However, pretty synonymous then to the left-hand side. Him and Mayo on the right-hand side do enjoy a very good relationship, as sometimes Mayo would be the one to pull wide and then he can look to invert. We did see that he made this beautiful half-space run where he received the ball and he was able then to provide the assist for Gonzalez against Kaizer Chiefs. Moving on then right along, when you have a look at the midfield, you do have Mukeke and then you do have Ambina. So when you look at Mukeke and Ambina then as a double pivot, I think that they complement each other very well. And also then what's very nice is that Mukeke is left-footed, Ambina's right-footed. So it does have that natural ball progression with regards to them being on their natural sides most of the time. Also then when you have a look at Mukeke's passing ability. So this is a player then who offers you that diagonal ball. He offers you that diagonal ball. He's got those penetrative passes which break the opposition lines, where he is able to find his more creative players in between the lines. Also quite key then within build-up phase, because he does tend to drop deep. At times you'll see maybe Mashego would go there, he'd be able to collect there. Does offer you half-space occupation within build-up phase as well. A player then who's been quite key for this Cape Town City side, and one of the standout performers within the DStv Premiership so far this season. Been very impressed with him within the heart of midfield, as he is then quite a key player for this Cape Town City side. When you move on then, right along and have a look at the number 10. So you do have Dehude, but you can also have Mtutuzim Tanzane there, who can play as a number 10, who I wouldn't be surprised if he was to come back into the starting lineup. When you do have a look at Mtutuzim Tanzane, he's quite the creative player for this Cape Town City side. He does offer them that positional superiority in between the lines. Very creative, and the player then who does look to penetrate into the final third. He scores goals from midfield as well, and he also then is able to provide assist, and he does have quite the beautiful left foot and very, very intelligent attacking midfielder. When you do then move right along then and have a look at the front three. So off the left hand side, you do have Gonzalez, and then up front, the last time out, they started with Lekay. Off the right-hand side, they started with Umayo. But we do know that this Cape Town City side have so many options. So they could also go with, there's Drame, they could go with Benda. They also do have Craig Martin, who can start off the right-hand side as well. So they've got so many options. Even then, within the heart of midfield, you do also have Thabo Notata. But I doubt Eric Tinkler would want to undo this double pivot and that midfield three, even with Dehude is there as well, because I think they had a very good performance against Kaizer Chiefs. They were very dominant. And when you do have a look at it then, a key player then is Gonzalez within this left side of attack, especially then when he does look to drift in. This is a player then who can score goals and he can provide assists as well. So he's very creative and he's got an eye for goal as well. His movement in behind is also very good as well. So I did mention earlier on that when he does look to occupy that half space, then you will have Mashego looking then to offer you the width. But what does the offensive scheme look like when you have a look at Cape Town City? So when you have a look at Cape Town City's offensive scheme, so it's a ball side fullback. Let's say Mkiza has the ball there. You'd see Mayo looking to tuck in. You'd see Lekay there. You'd then see Gonzalez there. Then you could have Mtutuzim Tanzani looking to add numbers. So what you would see then is somewhat of that shape, which becomes a 3-2-5. At times, it can even become a 2-3-5 if he tucks into midfield. But normally, that would be the average positioning of what Cape Town City are trying to do with regards to their offensive scheme. And then if the ball then is on the left-hand side, Mashego there, what they would do then is just shift across. So still very similar then with regards to the offensive scheme. So this Cape Town City side, from time to time, they also do tend to look to press high, and they do that very well. And also their counter press as well. So what would they look like? So when they are looking to press, a lot of the times it does come in the shape and form of somewhat of a 4-4-2, at times a 4-2-3-1. So at times it can look like that, where you would have, let's say, Lekay, maybe looking to go press. Let's just tuck in the back four there. So maybe Lekay then, he's looking to go press there. What becomes key then is obviously the cover shadow, ensuring that that pass into that midfield player can't be made. If they do press with a 2, then obviously it would look like that. So sometimes, a lot of the times actually it does look like that, where you would have either Hudaman or you would have Mtutuzim Tanzani, who plays as a 10, looking then to go assist the striker. They're also quite good then at being able to sit in a mid-block, and whenever then they do lose possession, they do look to counter press as well. But when we do then move then right along, let's have a look at Amazulu and how then they look to go about things. They've started the season off very, very well. So when you do have a look at Amazulu under Brandon Chuter then, they play then with a 4-3-3. So in goals then, when you do have a look at them, they've started with Uveli Moto. This is a very experienced campaigner, and he's been with Amazulu for a couple of seasons now. He is quite a key figure for this Amazulu from a defensive perspective. Also then, one of the leaders within that Amazulu side. As the right-sided centre-back, you do then have Kumede, and then as the left-sided centre-back, you do have Abubakar Mubara. So with Abubakar Mubara, then he becomes quite key with regards to progressing play for this Amazulu side from that deep pocket of space within the left side. So at times the left half space, if he really opens up, is sort of in that wide pocket of space. Very good then with regards to progressing the ball, playing line breaking passes. He's also press resistant, a player then who can invite the press, evade the press, or look then to bypass the first line of press as well. very comfortable on the ball. And also then with regards to how he reads the game, when that ball is played in behind, he is able then to cover for his centre back. Moving on then right along, when you do have a look at the heart of midfield, you do have Makhaula, you've got Maluleke, and then you've got Keegan Buchanan. That is their midfield three. So when you have a look at Makhaula then, quite key with regards to offering them that option within build-up play. Without the ball, and when opposition do have the ball, he does tend to break down opposition play for this Amazulu side, and very combative midfielder within the heart of midfield. When he does get the ball, he does keep it very, very simple. And then you do have Buchanan. When you do have a look at Buchanan, he does assume that deep laying playmaker role, where then he is able to stretch play. A player then who's got great range of passing, so he does have those diagonal balls. A player then who's also very good within build-up phase, looking then to build up for this Amazulu side. Something that we've seen that he's starting to do a lot more with regards to his play is that we are seeing him take shots from range, and also then a key component from set pieces, as he does tend to deliver quality balls into the box. So you'd have Makhaula there, you'd have Keegan Buchanan, and then you'd have Maluleke. But something I'd like to mention then, because when you do have Makhaula and you do have Buchanan, you can play them as a double pivot. You can play as a 10. You can look to play Uspesihle Maduna. And I think that would really aid this Amazulu side. Yes, they are doing well. Yes, they've scored goals. But I think this would really enhance their creativity and really enhance how they're looking to do things offensively, especially considering that Umaduna is such a creative player. A player then who also can take shots from range, as we've seen him in the past be able to score goals from range. And a player then who does look to break into the final third with passes and with runs as well. But it will most likely be a 4-3-3 like that within the heart of midfield. And then when you do then move then right along, as the left back, you do have Rian Hanamub. So when you do have a look at Rian Hanamub, he becomes quite key with regards to offering the width on the left-hand side, and a player who's got a great engine as well. On the right-hand side, you've got Uthembela Skakane, who would be looking to offer them the width. And then when you have a look at the front three, it becomes quite interesting then, because all three players are strikers. Yes, but you do have Mhango, who's a lot more mobile than the other two, but it is a front three then of, you'd have Mhango, who normally, as the standard position, he would be a lot more central. You've got Quem, and then you've got Ntuli. So that is the front three that Amazulu would go with. And when you do have a look at that front three, it is quite fluid in the sense that they do interchange positions, but mostly you would see Mhango looking to occupy that central position. However, how you can look at it is what he can also do, because he does have quality off the bench and he does have other options. What he can always do then is look to start Quem as the central striker, and then you can start Zuma off the right hand side, more as an inside forward, and then you can start Mhango as well off the left hand side, more as an inside forward, where then there will be a lot more tucked in, and you know that you're reliant on the fullbacks looking to offer you that width. If the ball is on the left hand side, you'd have Rian Hanna move there, Skakane would just be looking to tuck in. On the right hand side, it would be a very similar thing. So when you do have a look at it then, we do have two sides then that do look to build up from deep, do look to build up from the back. They do look to play that passing progressive brand of football. With Cape Town City then coming up into this encounter, I do think that they'll have the lion's share of possession, and I do foresee this becoming a very open and very entertaining quarterfinal encounter within the MTN 8. However, at home, do let me know who are some of the key players for Amazulu, who are some of the key players for Cape Town City, and what do you make of the MTN 8, and who do you think then will advance to the semi-final between Cape Town City and Amazulu? I think it will be Cape Town City to advance to the semi-finals of the MTN 8. Thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Luyolo. It is the MTN 8 Wafa Wafa signing out.